The afternoon I first pressed my coworker up against a meeting room wall, my wife's good morning lipstick was still on my mouth. My name is Daniel. I am 36. I live in the suburbs. I have a 4-year-old daughter who thinks I am a hero, and a wife who used to. On paper, I am exactly the kind of man who should never risk everything for a few stolen minutes with someone from work. But that is exactly what I did. It started with a mistake. Not mine. Hers. At 11:07 on a Tuesday, an email landed in my inbox. The subject line said, "I cannot do this anymore." I thought it was a customer complaint or someone quitting. I clicked it without thinking. Inside was a stream of frustration, deadlines, pressure, late nights, being invisible, watching other people take credit, feeling like she was screaming into a void. Halfway through, she wrote, "Sometimes I picture myself walking out of this glass box, getting on a random train, and never coming back. No greeting, no sign-off, just raw." I frowned at the 2-line. It was addressed to Daniel H. There are 3 Daniels in the company. I was not the Daniel she meant. Before I could process it, another email arrived. It said, "Ignore that last email. Wrong Daniel. Please delete. Sorry, I should have done the sensible thing. Delete. Move on." Instead, I wrote back. I typed, "Do not worry. If you do decide to walk out, at least give me a heads up so I can pretend I am just accidentally walking out at the same time." I stared at it for a few seconds, told myself it was harmless, and hit send. Her reply came 3 minutes later. She wrote, "Dangerous reply. Finance Daniel. Careful, I might actually knock on your glass box when I escape." That was the first tiny shift. Nothing physical, nothing dramatic. Just 2 people sharing a crack in their polite office mask. Before the email, Emily Carter had been just marketing Emily. Senior marketing manager, black jeans, blazer. Fast walk, AirPods in, intense. That is what everyone said. After the email, I started noticing details. The way she rubbed the back of her neck when someone talked over her in a meeting. The tiny scar near her eyebrow, the way she always sat near the door, like she needed an exit plan. We started emailing more. At first it was strictly work. "Hey, can you sanity check these numbers? What did you think of the client call? Is it just me, or is that new slide deck actually a war crime?" Then the tone shifted. "How was your day out of 10? On a scale of 1 to set it on fire, how was that meeting? If I disappear, you can have my chair. It is the only comfortable thing I own." Soon, it moved to messaging apps, short bursts during the day, longer threads at night. At home, Sophie, my wife, would sit on the couch next to me, scrolling her phone, the TV glowing in the background. Our daughter would be asleep. I would be there physically. But my brain was in a glowing chat window with Emily. It still did not feel like cheating. It felt like oxygen. Like someone had opened a window in a room. I did not realize it had been stuffy for years. The first time we were alone together after hours, we had an excuse. Our CEO wanted a pitch deck first thing tomorrow. It was already 6:30 p.m. Most of the office had gone home. Emily said, "Let us just finish it now before he decides he wants 15 more slides about synergy or whatever." We grabbed meeting room 4, glass walls, whiteboard, city lights starting to blink on outside. She dumped a pile of snacks on the table, vending machine chips, chocolate, 2 terrible coffees. I texted Sophie. I wrote, "Running late, urgent presentation. Do not wait up for dinner. Love you." She replied with a thumbs up and a heart. It felt small, routine. We worked for a while, talking, planning, laughing, swearing at fonts, the kind of focus you only get when everyone else has left. At some point, the conversation drifted. She asked me about my daughter. I asked her why she never mentioned anyone at home. She said, there was someone. It ended. Work was safer to think about. Silence hung between us. She asked, do you ever feel like you are doing everything right and still somehow missing the point? I thought about my house, my neat lawn, my labeled pantry, a life built like a spreadsheet, tidy, logical, cold. More than I would like to admit, I said. She looked at me properly then, really looked. Something in her expression softened. She said, did not expect that from you. You look very organized. I said, I am a professional box ticker. It is what they pay me for. She smiled quietly. Maybe that is the problem, she murmured. I laughed, trying to shake off the weight of the moment, but then she reached across the table and put her hand over mine. Just that. One warm hand on mine. Office lighting, empty floor, screensaver bouncing in the background. She asked softly, you okay? Finance Daniel? No one had asked me that like they meant it, in a long time. I should have moved my hand away. Instead, I turned my palm, laced my fingers through hers, and squeezed back. We sat like that for a few seconds too long. She cleared her throat, withdrew her hand, and said briskly, right. Show me how we fake confidence with actual numbers now. We went back to the deck, but we both knew something had changed. You would think there would be some big, cinematic moment where everything tips. In real life, it is small. A glance, a hand that lingers, an empty lift. It was a rainy Thursday. We had both stayed late again. Different reasons, same habit. I met her at the lift at 7:45 p.m. The office was almost empty. The fluorescent lights hummed. My back ached. She stepped in, hair damp from the rain, blazer slung over one arm. We were alone. The doors closed. The lift started to move with a soft, mechanical sigh. She said, you smell good, I said. It is just deodorant. She stepped a tiny bit closer. Well, your deodorant is doing a very good job, she said. I could feel the heat from her body now. The air felt smaller, thicker. Emily, I said. A warning that was not really a warning. She tilted her head, studying me. She said, tell me to stand on the other side of the lift. Tell me you are happily married. Tell me this is a stupid little crush that needs to die in a fire. I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. The lift stopped. The doors opened on level 3. Nobody there. The doors closed again. She moved closer. My back brushed the wall. Her fingers brushed my tie, tracing the fabric. Last chance, Daniel, she whispered. Left or right? Right? I said, confused. Right as in morally right, she said. Left as in us. I swallowed. Then I did the thing I will probably regret for the rest of my life. I reached out, grabbed her wrist gently, and pulled her that last half step towards me. We did not kiss in that lift. The doors opened again. Someone stepped in. We straightened up, 2 colleagues staring at the floor numbers. But when she stepped out at the lobby, she looked back over her shoulder and said very softly, left it is then. The first time we actually crossed the line properly was in Melbourne. Conference week, 2 nights, 1 hotel, too many name tags. There were 10 of us from the company. We did the usual routine, workshops, networking, fake laughter in front of clients. On the first night, everyone met in the hotel bar for just 1 drink. By midnight, only 2 of us were left at the table. Me and Emily. The bar was dim and warm. Low lamps, city lights outside. A singer in the corner doing slow, breathy covers. Her blazer was off, the top button of her shirt undone. "You should go to bed," I said. "Big day tomorrow." "So should you," she said. But neither of us moved. She swirled the last of her wine in the glass. "You know what I hate?" she said. "What?" I asked. She said, "How I think about you when I am not meant to. In meetings, on the train, when I'm brushing my teeth, when I'm trying to sleep." My heart started trampling my ribs. "Emily," I said. "Relax," she said with a small smirk. "I am not asking you to abandon your family and run away with me to the Gold Coast. I am just tired of pretending there is nothing here." She leaned in, elbows on the table, face too close. "Tell me there is nothing here," she said. I could not. Instead, I said one of the stupidest sentences of my life. "What room are you in?" She smiled, slow and dangerous. 908, she said. I did not go up with her, not straight away. I went back to my room, took off my shoes, stared at myself in the bathroom mirror. I thought about Sophie at home, probably finishing a glass of wine in front of a show I had promised to watch with her next time. I thought about my daughter's little pajamas in the laundry basket. I thought about the lift. Then I picked up my key card and walked down the corridor to room 908. My hand shook as I knocked. She opened the door in a hotel robe, hair down, bare feet on the carpet. "You were late," she said, voice low. We did not talk much after that. We did not sleep together in some acrobatic movie-style way, but we kissed. A lot. We touched. We crossed enough lines that there was no going back, even if we technically had not done everything yet. At some point, I pulled away, breathless. "I have to go," I said. "Okay," she whispered. "Go then." I left her room, walked back to mine, sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the wall, heart thudding. On my phone was a selfie Sophie had sent earlier of her and our daughter making silly faces with a sticker that said, "Good luck at the conference." I loved them. I also wanted to kiss Emily again. Both things were true. That was the problem. After Melbourne, the affair became its own living thing. It lived in the spaces between my real life, between meetings, between emails, between daycare drop-off and dinner. We did not immediately jump to hotel rooms. It was slower, more dangerous. It was a quick coffee off-site that somehow turned into her hand on my knee under the table while we talked about anything except work. It was squeezing into the back seat of my car in the underground car park just to talk where nobody could hear us, and ending up tangled together for 20 breathless minutes until her phone alarm buzzed. It was standing in the dark stairwell between level 5 and level 6, my hands around her waist, her fingers at the back of my neck, both of us listening for footsteps. 5 more minutes, she would whisper. "You said that 10 minutes ago," I would mumble into her hair. Then, "It is a very long 5 minutes," she would say. Every time, I told myself it was the last time. Every time, the next time came faster. We started having our own private language, code words, in meetings. Little jokes about fire drills and elevator maintenance that really meant, "I want you." Sometimes, she would brush past me in the hallway, fingertip tracing my wrist, so quick no one else saw. My body would light up like someone had flicked a switch. At home, I was still changing nappies, reading bedtime stories, emptying the dishwasher. On paper, nothing had changed. Inside, I was running 2 lives at once. The universe gave me warnings. I ignored them. The first warning was at work. We were in meeting room 7, the small one at the end of the corridor, with the half-frosted glass. The door did not click properly. unless you yanked it. We had ducked in there for 10 minutes to calm her down after a brutal call. She paced and hissed. That client is an actual demon. I swear, I am one email away from throwing my laptop out the window. I grabbed her wrist, pulled her close, kissed her before she could spiral further. Her hands went to my shirt, fingers curling into the fabric. Then the door handle rattled. Someone called. Is someone in there? It was my boss. We sprang apart, hearts in our throats. I yanked the door open a crack. Just finishing up a quick numbers chat, I said, praying my face looked normal. He peered in. Emily had spun her chair around, staring at the screen. Fingers on the keyboard like she had been working this whole time. He said, did not realize it was booked. I will find another room. His footsteps echoed away down the hall. We stared at each other. That was too close, Emily whispered. We have to be more careful, I said. We were more careful. For about a week. The second warning was at home. It was a Saturday morning. Cartoons on the TV. Cereal bowls on the coffee table. My daughter coloring at the kitchen bench. Sophie was scrolling on her phone. Daddy, who is Emily? My daughter asked suddenly. My entire body went cold. Where did you hear that name? I asked, trying to sound casual. She said, your phone said, new message from Emily, yesterday. It made a noise. Mummy rolled her eyes. Sophie did not look up, but I saw the tiniest twitch at the corner of her mouth. She is someone from work, I said. We talk about boring spreadsheets. Oh, my daughter said, and went back to coloring. I laughed it off. Inside, my heart was pounding. Part of me knew this was the universe saying, stop. Another part of me was already thinking about the next time I would see Emily. The real explosion started with a notification. I was in the kitchen, rinsing plates after dinner. Sophie was wiping down the table. My phone was on a bench, screen up. Stupid. Careless. It buzzed. A preview popped up. Emily wrote, I can still taste your cologne from the lift. When are we having another fire drill? Sophie froze, mid-wipe. She did not grab the phone. She did not scream. She just stared at the screen. Who is Emily? She asked quietly. Every excuse I had ever practiced evaporated. She is in marketing, I said. We work together. And she can taste your cologne from the lift? Her voice cracked on the last word. Panic flushed through me. It is just office banter, I said. She is like that with everyone. Show me, Sophie said. Show you what? I asked. Your messages, she said. If it is banter, show me. My phone felt heavy in my hand. I unlocked it, opened the chat, handed it to her. She read in silence. Dozens, hundreds, months of messages, jokes, complaints, secret plans, stupid, breathless lines we thought were clever. She scrolled and scrolled and scrolled. Her face went from curious to confused to devastated. When she finally looked up, her eyes were shining. How long? She asked. Since Melbourne? I said. A few months? Did you sleep with her? I swallowed. Yes, I said. She nodded once, like a judge passing a sentence in her head. Get out, she said. Soph, please, we can get out. Her voice did not rise. That made it worse. I packed a bag in 10 minutes. A few shirts, a pair of jeans, my laptop. My daughter stood in the doorway of her room, clutching a stuffed toy. Daddy, where are you going? She asked. I said, I have to stay at Uncle Ben's for a bit. I will still see you, okay? I promise. She frowned. Did you do something naughty? Yes, I said. I did. She nodded like it made sense. You should say sorry, she said. Mummy likes sorry. I know, I said. I will. But sometimes, sorry is too small for the thing you have broken. I slept on my brother's lumpy sofa for weeks. Sophie only spoke to me via text. Short, sharp messages about our daughter. Money. Handovers. One night, my phone lit up with Emily's name. She wrote, "Are you okay?" "No," I replied. "Are you?" She wrote, "Not really. They have started asking questions at work. We met once in a cafe, far from the office." She wore a hoodie instead of a blazer. No makeup. Dark circles under her eyes. "Well," she said, forcing a laugh. That escalated. "This is not funny," I said. "I know," she snapped. "I did not say it was funny. I just do not know what else to do except make a joke or cry." "We cannot keep doing this," I said. "Are you saying you regret it?" Her voice went flat. "Yes," I said. "And no." She stared at me. "Helpful," she muttered. I said, "I regret hurting Sophie. I regret lying. I regret not dealing with my marriage before I dragged you into it. But I cannot pretend I did not want you. I did. I do." There it was, messy, honest, too late. She looked down at her coffee. "They are moving me to another team," she said. "Apparently perception matters." "Maybe that is for the best," I said, hating myself a little. "For who?" she asked. "For you, so you can play the repentant husband? For them, so they do not have to fire anyone? Where does best fit for me in this?" I did not have an answer. A week later, she resigned. LinkedIn said she had taken a job in another city. Just like that, the affair that had eaten my life from the inside was gone. The consequences were not. Contrary to what you might expect, the most dramatic part was not the cheating. It was the slow, grinding work of deciding what came next. Sophie agreed to meet me in a cafe near her lawyer's office. She sat across from me, hands wrapped around her mug, shoulders tense. She said, "I am not here so you can talk me out of a divorce. Do not try." I said, "I will not. You get to decide. I have done enough deciding for both of us." She raised an eyebrow. "That might be the first honest thing you have said in months," she said. We sat in silence for a while. She said, "I read the messages. All of them. I wish I had not. But I did." "I know," I said. She said, "You did not just sleep with her. You gave her the part of you that used to be mine." My throat burned. "You are right," I said. "You are not going to argue?" she asked, surprised. "What would I argue?" I said. "You are the one who had to read about my fire drills and stairwells." She winced. "Do not say it out loud," she said. "It is bad enough in my head." We were quiet again. She asked, "What do you want?" I said, "I want to become someone our daughter can respect. Someone who does not run away into other people when life gets hard." I said, "I want, if there is even the tiniest chance, to rebuild something with you that is real. Not perfect. Just real." She looked away. "My lawyer says I should leave," she said. "Take the house. Ask for custody. Make you feel what it is like to lose everything. If that is what you do," I said, "I will not fight it." She asked quietly, "What do you think?" I took a breath. I said, "I think you have every right to leave. I also think there were cracks long before Emily. Cracks I never talked about. Cracks you were too tired, too busy, too trusting to see." She said, "That sounds a lot like, it is not my fault." I said, "It is my fault. Cheating was my choice. 100 little choices. I just do not want us to pretend everything was perfect until the big bad coworker appeared." She closed her eyes for a moment. She said, "I do not forgive you. I do not even know if I can forgive you, But I also do not want our daughter to grow up thinking the first answer to pain is to run away. She opened her eyes and looked at me. So here is the deal, she said. One chance. Counseling. Absolute transparency. No more secrets. No more private chats. You change jobs if you have to. You block her. You sit with me in the ugly parts instead of outsourcing them. And if I fail? I asked. Then I leave, she said simply, and I will not look back. I nodded. Okay. This is not a movie, she said. There's no big speech that fixes it. This is years of work. Years of me wondering where you are, what you are doing, and if I am stupid for staying. I said, you do not owe me trust. I have to earn it. For once, she said, we agree. People always ask for the ending. Did you stay together? Did you end up with the coworker? Did karma get you? The truth is less cinematic and more exhausting. Emily moved away. We have not spoken since. Sometimes, something will remind me of her. A perfume, a song, an elevator ding. For a second, my brain flashes back to a hotel corridor. Then my daughter runs in, holding a drawing of our family, and the memory fades. Sophie and I went to counseling. Real counseling. The kind where you leave with a headache and puffy eyes, not a neat resolution. We talked about everything. The affair? Yes. But also the years before it. The missed signals, the resentment, the loneliness in a house that looked happy from the outside. We are not fixed. I am not sure relationships ever are. We are in progress. Some nights, we still sleep back to back, a gulf between us. Other nights, we lie awake talking about things we should have said 10 years ago. There are mornings where she catches me looking at her like I used to, and for a split second, before remembering, she smiles the way she used to. Then the memory of what I did flickers across her face and the smile fades. That is the part no one tells you about, how long the shadows are. But there are also new things. We started having coffee together on Saturday mornings, before our daughter wakes up. No phones, no TV, just two tired people holding mugs, trying to learn how to be honest, without waiting until it is too late. I changed jobs, new office, new commute, no Emily. I still wear my wedding ring. Some days it feels heavy, a reminder, a weight. Other days it feels like a promise I am finally learning how to keep. If you are listening to this on your way to work, or cleaning the kitchen, or lying in bed next to someone who does not know what is on your phone, I am not here to judge you. I am just telling you this. The first kiss in a hotel bar feels like a secret you can control. The last tear at a kitchen table feels like a life you cannot. Affairs look exciting from the outside. They feel like color in a gray life. What you do not see is the wreckage afterwards. I do not get a clean, heroic ending. I get this. A wife who chose once to try. A daughter who still thinks I am her hero, even on the days I do not deserve it. And a story that I hope someone else hears before they step into a lift and choose left. Because the afternoon I first pressed my coworker up against a meeting room wall, my wife's good morning lipstick was still on my mouth. And some days I can still taste the guilt